Broadcasting from Hollywood, California, it's Grant's Rants, Hollywood Talk.
My girl Dina Lohan gets engaged through the mail to someone she's never met. We question what Bravo can do with Nene leaks and Vanderpump. Lisa Rinna goes nude, and we've got some summer TV recommendations for you that may help you escape. Here's hoping. That and more with Megan O'Donnell. Let the ranting begin. I am joined via Skype by Megan O'Donnell from Bravo Happy Hour podcast. I feel like we've become close friends. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited to not only talk about Bravo. It's really refreshing because Bravo's actually so boring and annoying lately that the fact that I have a 2-time-a-week podcast about it has been like making me want to rip my hair out. But I'm excited to talk all things Hollywood with you today.
Yeah, it's always like I said, it's like Bravo Daily Dish meets Page Six. It's always kind of a mix on this show. And I just, as far as the Bravo universe goes, I don't even know if they know what's going on. It's so tough, man. I watch a lot of YouTube, and YouTube has just now turned into the news. It's so hard to find an escape, and I'm determined to give people who are listening to this podcast something else. I'll try my best, something else. So we're going to talk about TV, and at first, I think we have to lead with this huge story. This story will only be the top story on this podcast. I can guarantee you. Congratulations are in order. Miss Dina Lohan, engaged to a man she's dated off of Facebook since 2014, never met in person, but they are engaged through the mail. And I'm telling you, Dina, you're doing better than me. You're doing better than most during this quarantine. So good for you.
Honestly, it's inspiring. She's been with this man for 6 years. They're clearly very happy, but granted, again, he's in prison, if people don't know that.
I didn't realize he was in prison.
Wait, I feel like I read somewhere that he was in prison. But now I'm thinking, is this like my fan fiction that I've been writing in my head that Dina is dating?
Oh my God, I could only hope. Like, that would be like perfect.
Oh my God, no, that's just my dyslexia. Literally, it says without ever having met him in person, and my dyslexia brought person to prison. And I was like, wait.
Well, I could only hope. Because
that would be a whole plot
yeah.
twist, Sheree Whitfield status.
Well, I mean, it almost makes it more peculiar because, okay, so this man is free to move about the country and still, and all this time, has not met his fiance in person. And she was on the West Coast a couple times, including for Celebrity Big Brother. So, I mean, make the effort. I'm telling you, if I even had a friend who I haven't seen in that many years, I'd write them off. I mean, that's ridiculous. You got to make the effort. Never mind getting engaged.
I mean, how can you be with someone for 6 years and not physically want to be with that person when you have nothing stopping you? Like, what is the issue? Is it a money thing? Obviously, Dina Lohan isn't rolling in the dough like she used to when she was, taking Lindsay's royalty money.
Yeah, the momager role.
But what else is she really doing? And why can't she get, I don't even know where he lives. Why can't he get $300 to take a one-way trip to see her? Like, it just seems weird that after 6 years they both are like, let's do this a little differently.
Dina is still at the top of my list of one of my biggest jokes in life, and I absolutely love her so much. And she's been like my white whale. I've tried to get her on the podcast, and they want to charge me $3,000 to have her come on the show to promote what? It's ridiculous, but I love her so much because she's an opportunist. She's inserted herself in the background of Lindsay's early movies, like laying by a pool or slow dancing with an elderly man in the corner of a party scene. I just love that she just blazes her own path. And she's absolutely nuts. I watched every clip and every moment. I paid for the live feeds, but she was on Celebrity Big Brother. And that's when people said that she was in a catfish situation. I believe it was Candy Burris of Atlanta Housewives who was like, yeah, you're being catfished. That's ridiculous. You've never met this guy. How do you even know he's real? And she claims she has a great relationship with his mother. So now they're engaged. What does it even matter? Like, what does it mean? She hasn't met him. So he said, he has to, basically he's waiting for his mother, his elderly mother, to die so he can move in with Dina. That's where we're at.
And like, okay, that's great. But again, you can't go to New York for a weekend. So Dina's in Long Island and this dude is in California, I'm reading.
Right.
I just can't understand what 6 years, what 6-year relationship wouldn't ever want to see one another. Like, I feel like there's a big thing missing. And they said here that he like proposed with a ring and like the UPS guy gave it to him and he was on FaceTime at the same time. So it's not like on the Catfish show where the person's like in 2020 and they're like, so weird, I don't have a camera on my phone. And it's like, okay, dude, that's a bold-faced lie. Every person has a camera on their phone.
Right.
Like, they've seen each other's faces. They're not like literally catfishing one another. So what's the issue?
Why would, first, I don't understand people of a certain age, why they have to run to get married. I think it's a ridiculous thing because it's just like a legal entanglement. Dina has enough legal problems. They've got the mugshots to prove it. So like, at that point in her life, I would want to simplify. I would want to really make it easy on myself. And, if you want to have a nice online boyfriend, cool. But I don't understand what you're going to get engaged for. He mailed the diamond ring. I've never heard of such a thing. No.
I mean, it's like, is this fake? Like, I have a feeling this ring isn't actually made of diamonds. I feel like it's just like a big ring pop because I don't believe anything in this relationship.
I wanted to know like what he does. He's a 55-year-old real estate investor. Well, that's like one of those housewives' husbands' positions. They're like an entrepreneur. Like, what is he investing in? Is it commercial real estate? Does he just like collect rent on a couple buildings? Like, I'm curious to know just how successful he is, if at all, and why he would want to get involved with Dina. Dina, she relates to Romeo and Juliet. Give me a break. Give me a break. She said,
"What is that like?
Them.
Like star-crossed lovers? Like they can't be together, being held apart by all odds? Like maybe his mom is weird because if he's like, oh, when my mom passes away, then like we could be together and you could move in, or vice versa. Like maybe the mom is like, you're gonna like I'm dying and you're gonna choose to be with Dina Lohan over me. Like that actually would." Kill me first, like, as a mother.
Dina, I'm always here to give you some advice. First of all, you're gonna come on this ridiculous show because like I just need to talk to you. But Dina, when it comes to this engagement, I don't know what you expect to come of it. You haven't ever met him. How are you even going to engage in any type of ceremony? I would not get married at your age. The house has been in and out of foreclosure, so the asset's not even good. I don't know what either of you will be gaining. So, no.
I guess attention, but at this point, Dina, shouldn't you just be like focusing on the family? Like
she claims Lindsay's so excited for her. None of the kids have even met him either. So I don't know how excited you can be.
Also, I feel like Dina and Lindsay haven't spoken in 15 years.
I follow the whole Lohan clan on Instagram. And whenever they have like Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, they use photos from which they appeared like in the press and like photos from like the early 2000s. And these are photos that I use like on my Insta stories. Like ridiculous. Like they don't have any photos of the last time they got together for a holiday. It's just odd that they recycle the same pictures that are like Googleable of themselves. Like I guess they're not that close. We could spend like 10 minutes talking about Dina's engagement. This is more than Dina has spent time with the man she's engaged with. Or two.
Are you kidding? I mean, like I'm jealous. Like I have like a fucked up way of looking at it where I'm like, okay, how can Dina Lohan like secure a man during quarantine who she's never met, and like I can't get a text back? Like just wondering.
True.
Wondering.
The world truly is upside down. And it remains to be a little wild with Nene Leakes, who I'm not a fan of hers. I was in the beginning. I had a chance to meet her out here at one of the NBC upfronts, and this was like before like Nene's ego was out of control. Maybe it was at the time too. This was during like the New Normal. Remember that ridiculous show on NBC?
I actually liked that show. I feel like I was like in the minority on that one,
Yeah,
but I enjoyed it.
I
I
think it
mean,
was
for
too.
Ryan Murphy, who oof, sometimes is a little much.
Yeah, I just don't think it was the right fit for NBC. I think it could have done well maybe anywhere else, but who knows. Um,
Mm.
so Nene, her team has denied her firing, including Bravo. Nene herself has said that she's not fired. She's not fired, despite an outpouring of celebration on Twitter that she's finally gone. I chimed in as well. I think she has a terrible attitude. I think she's expensive. I said this. I said this on Twitter and Instagram. She's
Hmm.
expensive. She assaulted a guy. She's almost spit on a woman. She's lucky she didn't get sued. So the fact that she's not rewarded with a contract, or they're not meeting her demands, and they're in negotiations. The fact, which I don't know what that even means, the fact that she didn't get what she wanted, she's lucky she didn't get sued. So I have much respect for her, honestly,
Yeah.
just from her own behavior, just watching her bad attitude. We've seen it on the show, we've heard it, we saw that she skipped out on the reunion because she like closed her computer or something. Like, no, you don't get to do that and then get rewarded.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, this is your job, period. And so, if you're coming to things late and you're slamming the computer down during the reunion, and like with her whole situation with Yvonne, like it was clear that Nene set this woman up and then had to try to kind of backtrack and pretend like she didn't do anything wrong when Yvonne was like, no, like you told me to record and you told me to do this and you told me to do this. And then the second Yvonne like brings it up to her and is like, you need to talk to me, she just leaves and up and leaves. Like
That
you
sounds
get
like
nowhere. And
that
then
sounds like somebody else I know, Lisa Vanderpump.
well, yeah, exactly. But see, I think that's what happens to a lot of the people who are considered like the matriarch of a franchise, whether it's Vanderpump or Bethany, Nene, or I think Jax is kind of having this fall from grace moment on Vanderpump Rules, where they begin thinking like, this show is my show. This is my baby. Without me, this show is nothing. And we've seen time and time and time and time and time again, people can leave and they're forgotten.
Yeah.
I actually prefer Lisa Vanderpump not on Beverly Hills Housewives this year.
I won't argue with you there.
Well, I mean, you're like anti Beverly. No, you're anti Beverly Hills, right? I'm definitely anti.
Yeah. Well, definitely I'm both, but I'm watching a little. I'm still behind. I think I'm on episode 5. Full disclosure of Beverly Hills, so I'm watching it casually. I mean, again, expectations low. I'm taking deep breaths. There's probably some meditation happening on commercial breaks. Like I'm getting through it. So,
but I think at this point in Atlanta, they do need to do a shakeup because not only have they done Marlo dirty for years and years and years, not giving her a proper peach? They gave Eva a 3-season arc where she did nothing but have beautiful babies. And that's great, but she's not coming back. Cynthia has one foot out the door and has for years.
A long time. Oh, she's like the most expendable one. Yeah, she's expendable on that show. Eva, I never enjoyed her. In fact, when she came on, I'm not saying it's her fault, but I guess when I started to kind of fall off of Atlanta a lot because I didn't really care to follow her, and that's what's happening to me with a lot of the women. Like Beverly Hills is a great example of that. I don't like any of them. I don't want to follow any of their lives, and so Eva was kind of a new direction, and I was like, I don't know if I like this direction. They've kind of gone a little further into that, in my view. I don't necessarily love it.
I think things just kind of have to change. And I liked Tanya, and now they're saying like Yvonne might have a peach, Nene might not be coming back.
Great.
I mean, Portia is amazing. Like,
yeah, she earns her spot on that show, and I
every single year.
I think I said it on this podcast. Maybe it was another one, but or maybe it was Twitter. But I was just so happy to see Portia was out there protesting. Just her family from the civil rights background, and I was just really happy to see that she was out there on CNN. They didn't use her celebrity either. They didn't use her name. It was just her and her sister with a sign. I was like, I'm gaining a lot more respect for her. Especially her stature on the show. I mean, she's dealt with a lot. She's kind of the only one, though, that's calling for Nene's return. Everybody else is kind of either way on it. But she's like all team Nene after everything Nene said about her.
Yeah.
No, I don't forget. I don't forgive and forget like
syndrome.
That. Yeah, I don't forgive and forget like that with anybody.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she just feels like indebted to Nene in a way. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I think Portia has like a very big heart. And during like the Candy and Phaedra fight where she made those accusations that she was like trying to drug and rape her, like that is just so disgusting and untrue. And I think like Nene was there for Portia. And so Portia has this like big sister, little sister, like you'll look out for me and I'll look out for you. And I feel like she's always kind of like looking for a weird validation from Nene. And I don't know why, because Nene is like consistently a bad friend to everybody.
And
like,
who made her
forever.
the moral authority? Yeah. I do not get the Nene love. I just don't get it. It's the same thing with like the Vanderpump stuff. There are some blind loyalties, and one could even put a political spin on this that perhaps I'll never understand. I'll just never get the blind loyalty. So that's me.
I think that's such an interesting thing now on like for Stassi, like all of these people, I guess, I don't know, like whatever. Stassi gets fired from Vanderpump Rules, and now Instagram is going insane. And now there's like groups that are like, save Stassi Schroeder. And it's like so interesting when you see like the two sides of it, where it's like, yeah, just because I feel this way about her doesn't mean everybody else is. And I think, fans are crazy, but like there'll always be the fans of Lisa Vanderpump or whatever. Like my friend has a really funny meme account called Vanderpump Jewels, and it's like a Vanderpump meme account. And she said to me, like, if she ever writes anything kind of negative about Lisa Vanderpump, that she'll get like 300 comments and DMs and people being like, don't say that about Lisa. And it's just like, oh my goodness.
I'll never get it.
This is a meme.
Yeah.
Please do something else.
I know. You made a good point earlier, though, with like these larger than life people who have been on these shows forever and ever. I can't even think of, I don't watch it, but Reza is another one who's just like to be a total asshole. I think they're used of producers protecting them or protecting other people. So if they do something that's going to affect the plot of the show, like Nene instructing Ivana, is that her name?
Yeah, Ivana.
So if Nene instructing her to record, then like I feel like Nene knew producers would protect her, meaning Nene. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think these older vets of these shows are like, well, the producers aren't going to like out me for this. They're just going to, it's just going to play out as it is. And so they get lazy and sloppy and egotistical. I think that's exactly what happened with Lisa Vanderpump. I think she manipulated her way out of a job.
Mm-hmm. And I think now she must be, one, trying to like plot whatever her next like shady business situation will be. But I'm really wondering what the future is for her. One, the future of Vanderpump Rules, which I think as a show either needs a cast revamp or really just to focus on Tom Tom and talk about the Toms only and get Jax out of there. I think they have a lot of work to do. But
shelve the show. Just put it away for a while. It doesn't mean you need to cancel it, even though that's what I would say. But just shelve the show. If it does get good ratings and demos, it's worth something. Shelve it for now. That's my point of view.
Totally. But even like her restaurants, she has 4 restaurants in Los Angeles, none of which have been open for 4 months at this point.
They're still not.
And she fired all her staff. Not obviously, she can't really furlough people because she's not literally making any money. They're not doing delivery or anything. So, she's hemorrhaging money right now for these 4 properties. And I think if anything, like Villa Blanca is not going to make it out. I feel like this will be a good time for her to be like, we're closing Villa Blanca to save money. Like,
yes,
I think that's gotta go. I think if anything, Sir, Tom Tom and Pump, those 3 will be safe for a while. But
it's so true.
I'm just wondering
that.
What her next moves are. Like, I'm wondering what is going to happen. And
I said this early on about Villa Blanca. I did. I said that restaurant. Now I know people have worked there and said that they're always threatening to close it, but it would be such bad press for her. And don't forget, it's on the TMZ tour bus route and all this. So it would be such bad press. So I figured I would love to know how they're going to do it. But if she can be the martyr and come in and save 300 jobs by closing one restaurant, she will do it. And I think now is the time, and people will not be able to fault her because they can just blame coronavirus. So I get it either way. But I think that's been a business in the decline for a long time. So that's just kind of how the restaurant world goes, especially in big cities. You can't have, hit restaurants for decades. I mean, they come and go. So, you've got others that are doing very well, arguably. I can't argue against that. So, like, embrace the new ones, and you're going to face things like you can't have everything. But going back to Nene,
also, like,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, even her restaurants themselves are not places like people from Los Angeles who are locals go there to dine out.
Absolutely.
Like, they're tourist destinations. And now, like, tourism is plummeting. People aren't feeling safe traveling. People aren't feeling safe at bars. So even that is going to be reflected in her restaurants and people not as many people coming, and not a group of 15 women flying in from Oklahoma for a bachelorette trip and all going to all 4 locations. Like, that is no longer going to be a thing for, I think, the foreseeable future. And so I'm wondering what this will do to her. In a way, I'm like feeling like a masochist, but I want this to take her down.
I'm not a fan of hers. I don't want to see people lose their jobs, but I would like. I think Nene and Lisa Vanderpump could both be humbled right now. I think they could use some humbling. Last thing on Nene, a source says she's pursuing her own show at E! Well, we all know she had her own show on Bravo, I Dream of Nene, which got nowhere. And if it was successful, I don't know why they wouldn't have just kept it. They've kept Kim going forever, Kim Zolciak and her family. So if it was successful, they wouldn't have canned it so fast. So that just says a lot right there. I don't think E has a lot of success right now, so I don't know if they would take a chance on this because they have the numbers to compare. Nene's been out there for a while. She had her own show. They can see how it performed. If it didn't do well, it's not worth the risk.
And what would the show even be? I know she's teased like having a store, like a shop, having a show around her shop, Swag Boutique. But no one wants to see like the Dashed girls, like that whole thing, like when the Kardashians would like pretend to work in the store in the beginning. And I just don't find that interesting. And
me neither.
And I don't know, what are we supposed to like care about her home life? Like Bravo.
Her acting life.
Cast. Like, when you take someone out, they become incredibly boring. And then you also are like, wow, so she's just acting. And, Nene is a queen of a soundbite. So, she's going to be blooping and doing her little things like at the dinner table where it's like, you're just sitting with your family, like chill.
Yeah, Nene,
you don't need to be like that.
I don't think Nene could handle a show on her own. What I would like to see for her, like professionally, is and I would not be interested in watching this, but I could see her on a panel show, like a show like The Real. She's, like you said, queen of sound bites. She can be funny when she's lighthearted, which is rare these days to see her kind of let her hair down. But I think that she could be great on a show where it's like different point of views and she could bring some energy to that. I just don't have any interest in seeing on her own. So that's me.
Yeah.
When we come back, Lisa Rinna takes everything off and God, I don't know what to say about this. And I'm desperate for summer TV, and we're going to fill you in on what's coming out, what's kind of already been out, stuff that we can kind of fill our time with. I need a distraction like you wouldn't believe. That and more in a moment with Megan O'Donnell. Now this.
You're listening to Grant's Rants. Subscribe and spread the word. There are a lot more rants to come. Listen anytime on all major podcasting platforms. And now, back to the show.
And we're back on the podcast. I'm talking with Megan O'Donnell calling in from New York. How are you doing in New York?
I'm in Brooklyn, where Alex McCord once lived, and it's been pretty good. It's weird to be in the city right now because all of the rich people are gone and have fled, and there are no tourists. So it's actually kind of like a New Yorker's paradise where you're like, wait, this is so nice. But the realities of summer in Manhattan is just the worst. Like tiny apartments, crappy ACs, and now like wearing a mask. Like I was like out for a walk the other day and I'm like breathing in this hot mask. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go back inside.
Yeah.
This is not worth it.
I still am struggling with the fact that this year is a waste. Like I'm really just struggling with, like, I had my birthday recently, which I had so many different plans to, which were just they weren't crazy plans, but they all got canceled. And I ended up, thank God, my friend Blake and I got together, and that was helpful and nice. But it's really lousy. Like, I need to just accept, like, I can't make this year work, so I need to stop trying. But
it's been weird for me. Like, I've never, like, as much as like people are like physically, like in their health and emotional health and financially, like a lot of people are struggling, but I've like never really, I'm like saving money by being home. I'm paying off my credit card debt. I'm focusing on my podcast again, like in a way that I didn't allow myself to, because I'm like a busy bee. So I'm like, I'm going on this date and I'm meeting this guy and doing this. Da, 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 da. Like there's always like something happening. And so it's kind of been nice to like take a step back and slow down a little bit. But now I'm like very much feeling the opposite, where I'm like, okay, I want to go on a rooftop. I want to drink a $14 margarita with my girls and have fun.
yeah,
I just can't do.
I
can't do the
yeah, I need balance. I mean, I've been very fortunate to have steady work, but I need a balance. It's still, you know, the summer and people take vacations, and we always have, and I would like to partake in that balance myself. It's not great, but what can I say other than Lisa Rinna is wearing nothing? Where do we go from here? Who knows? I do not follow Lisa on Instagram. I got really tired of it. I got tired of being sold to. I really follow very few celebrities at this point, because I'm tired of people posing with a water bottle telling me to send some type of code to some website. I'm tired of being sold to. So Lisa Rinna is one of them. And I also kind of don't really enjoy her. I used to, but she's wearing nothing. This is an ad campaign for sunglasses. The sunglasses are Christian Cohen specs. They range between $99 and $129. Why wouldn't you just find a price and just choose one? But she's completely naked in these photos. And, you know, I get it, because it's like, all right, it's shocking, it's eye-catching, it's like Kim Kardashian with the butt out with the champagne. But, like, where do you go from here? Like, now that we've seen everything, so, like, the shock value is done.
I mean, her body is insane. Like, you know, she doesn't like eat or anything, so that goes without saying. But like, there's just not a morsel of like imperfection on her body, which is like, I mean, you wonder why her daughters struggle so much with their body image. But it's like, girl.
Well, I mean, it's also Lisa Rinna's only job is to keep up her appearance. That's all that you know, that's her job.
True.
So,
I wish that were mine.
I mean, you know, they said on Daily Mail, you know, I always have to give the ages, but she's 56 years old, and look, she looks great. Why not? But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of a little much. I'm not here to judge her. I don't know how to feel about it, other than it's kind of like, all right, now what? You know, all this shock value and all this. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It's just kind of not that big of a deal to me anymore. I mean, how many people do we know that are on OnlyFans? I mean, you know, it's like nudity in porn isn't anything that novel. So, okay.
Yeah, and Lisa Rinna standing here naked does not make me want to go buy those sunglasses. I want to like throw out the pizza that I have heating up and like get a gym membership. Like, that's what that makes me want. Like, not these hideous looking sunglasses. I need to check those.
They are ugly. And, you know, to me, it's
hideous.
like, it's another stunt. And I'm kind of tired of being manipulated with all these stunts. But that's what it is. I mean, you know, it's got us talking about it. I would have not discussed this normally if she posted something in a sweater. So, like, okay. I mean, she's doing it. And hopefully they're selling the sunglasses for this guy. But it's interesting. I don't know. Good for her, I guess. You know, I don't really care for her, so what difference does it really make? I'm not going to buy those sunglasses. I don't know what it is with that style. Those little triangular specks that they came in vogue like last year, and I was hoping that they would phase them out. But I guess they're just as popular this year as they were last.
I don't know. I'm like a very classic dresser, and like I've worked in fashion my like entire professional career, and like I would see girls like, you know, I worked at Vogue, like wearing like tiny little glasses like in meetings indoors. I'm like, you dumb bitch. You look so stupid. Like, you look so stupid. And then, like, everyone would come in and be like, you look amazing. You look amazing. You look amazing. Like, to that girl. And I'd sit there and I'm like, why am I in a J. Crew, like, cardigan and, like, like, dressed like a normal person? And this girl looks like, you know, a young Dorit Kemsley with these little silly glasses.
Yeah, those little glasses that don't. I mean, they serve no purpose as far as the sun goes. They're just a fashion statement. And yes, they range between $99 and $129. It's just like, why? It's just an accessory. But whatever. Who cares? Oh,
And some of them are quite tacky, and even like some of the shapes. It looks like some of the shapes look like something if you were like using power tools in your garage. But these happen to cost $129. These are
yeah, they're homely. I don't know. I don't want glasses like that. I like big aviator glasses. I like Ray-Ban glasses. That's more my speed. I'm not getting anything like that.
Yeah.
But let's take a look at some summer TV. I teased it earlier, and it's honestly the truth. Like, I'm trying to watch like anything that isn't news. It's hard. It's really difficult. There's not much out there, especially for the summer. The summer months, you know, are kind of hit or miss as it is. But I took a look at an article over on IndieWire, and they named a bunch of summer TV shows. Some of them we'll talk about are on the list. Some of them are not. There's a lot of stuff that's on streaming services. And, you know, I'm just trying to think of who the audience is of this show. And I don't know if some of these, like, period pieces are going to match us, you know? Like,
definitely not me.
No, not me. So Real Housewives of Potomac season 5 is coming back August 2nd. Obviously this was shifted in the schedule, but I had the same kind of problem with this show last season where the stories are now almost over a year old. So it's hard to get as invested. Because by the time they debate these things at the reunion, I mean, it's like almost irrelevant, but I'll be watching.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy Real Housewives of Potomac, and was heartbroken a couple months ago when their release date was like changed 2 days before the season was supposed to come out. But I understand it now. Like, Bravo is clearly just dragging everything out as long as humanly possible, as we could tell by like Beverly Hills and New York having their little hiatuses. But Potomac always brings it for me, and I find the ladies to be like funny, and like there is a good balance between drama and joy, and I think that's like what I look for in some housewives shows, where I think some shows you kind of lose that, where I think Beverly Hills is kind of losing it a little bit more this season. But I like the goofy scenes on like New York Housewives when you see like, you know, all the ladies at the vineyard running around the corn maze, like stuff like that is really fun. And then what makes those moments better are then like, you know, 10 minutes after, Dorinda screaming at Tinsley and, you know, Sonia being crazy, you know. So, but I think there's like that balance, and I feel Potomac has that balance. And even last year they went to New Orleans, and Giselle's father, I believe it was her father, took her and all the ladies to a plantation, and they had just like a really great eye-opening conversation about race and the South and all these different things. And so I kind of like when shows also give you a little bit of that too, where it's like, okay, like, yes, this is all fun and games, and going shopping and getting your nails done is fun, but also having a little bit more depth and understanding of the people on your show.
Absolutely.
Kind of nice.
Absolutely. I mean, I said a very similar thing to Margaret Josephs when she was on this podcast for the 150th episode. I was just like, I want to see more of your business and like who you are. I'm tired of watching everybody go to lunch and then they go to dinner with the same group of people, and the next day 2 people from the dinner have to get together and talk about the dinner the night before. There's no substance. And I didn't put it that way to her because I know she's not producing the show. But I mean, I was just like, you know, I'm like, she does really good work, and I'd like to know more about her business and the charities that they work in. They don't have to serve as backdrops for screaming matches. We can actually just see what the event is about. I'm okay with that. You know, it's about a balance. What else on this list? What other summer TV shows that you tuned? I have a few here, but I want to get your take first.
These are so, like, I feel like everything is so serious on here. I don't know if I'll literally watch any of them, but I am dying for Selling Sunset season 3, coming out, I think, first week of August. And I just got into that show, and now I feel like I'm a part of the cultural zeitgeist, especially in our little Bravo world. Like,
people have begged me to watch that.
All those people,
yeah,
like, it's really good.
I will have to
really
do it.
good.
I'm not opposed. I know Chriselle, actually, not super personally, but we've done some stuff together, and I know her from the soaps mainly too. So I'm interested to watch just for her. We'll see. I'll probably take a look at it. I think it's smart to releasing the season 2 and season 3 pretty close to one another. So that's on my list. Yeah. Yeah,
that's a good one. And then definitely this Dirty John. I loved the first Dirty John, like based off the real life and the podcast, and aka like Vicky Gunvalson's life. But the Betty Broderick story, I think will be really good. And I know I never heard of this Betty Broderick lady, and then I had a guest on my show, or maybe I was on her show. I can't remember. All I do is talk. But she was explaining like the entire like murder series and like this fancy lady. And so I'm excited to watch that one too, because
I've heard good things. I know my Granny June watches that show, Dirty John, Betty Broderick. So I'll have to maybe take a look at it, because they are very well done shows. It's just not necessarily on my radar, but I mean, it might be good to actually watch something a little more highbrow, because I'm kind of down this 90 Day Fiance rabbit hole with The Other Way and then Happily Ever After ? To me, they're worth watching, but they will take up your entire week. I have to watch them in bits and pieces. That's how I watch a lot of shows anyway. I can't really do it all at once, because I've always got something that pops up. So unless if it's late at night. So they're quite a job. But 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way premiered June 9th, so it's not too late if you wanted to get into that. I know people are on the fence with that because it is such a commitment. What else is on this list? There's this show Love Victor on Hulu, and I don't know much about it other than it's a spinoff of that movie Love, Simon. But what I'm really pissed about that I read is that it was originally produced to be on Disney Plus, but they threw it over on Hulu because of gay content and alcohol use. That's what they blamed it on, was alcohol use. So it's not family friendly. And they said it's a story of kind of a gay boy having like self-discovery. So I don't see what is so offensive about that being on Disney Plus. How are we supposed to accept alternative lifestyles if we have to hide them? So I don't really like that.
Exactly.
I think that's I don't really like that gross. Either.
I think it's a real cop-out, and I think so many of I think especially in the time that we're in right now, companies, big corporations are coming out and saying what they stand for and what they stand for. It's like, well, then show us. Show us if you like.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing? Like Disney is saying no to like showing a couple young gay boys on screen, and it's like, what a disservice. You could be helping so many people, and I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that.
Yeah, I mean, how graphic could it be? He's in high school. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm really, really disappointed because, like you said, you can't just talk about it. You have to be about it. And you know that in every city that the Walt Disney Company has a presence in, they're there marching in the Pride Parade, promoting their business and all the cable arms that they have at ESPN, and I'm sure Disney Plus is right there as well. But where are the gay voices? You know, where are they? Mm-hmm. And I just think it's really lousy, especially because this is a show about a boy in high school. Come on. You know, they're not telling the story of, you know, the AIDS crisis. I mean, this is ridiculous. Please. So I think I don't know if I'll look at it.
Unfortunate.
I don't know if I'll look at it, but like I'm very disappointed in Disney Plus. You're wrong for that, especially to do during Pride Month. Lousy. Big Brother is coming back. There's an unknown date, but everything has been pushed. I think usually it would be airing around right now, actually, the end of June. This will probably be the week. But everything's been pushed a few weeks. So maybe it'll be a shorter season. Maybe it'll be longer and just go into the fall. I can't imagine they're going to have tons of programming in the fall anyway. But I actually met this guy at the pool in my building who's he works in the art department on Big Brother, and he's officially been hired back. So it's for real. They haven't announced it in the press.
Wow.
But it definitely will be coming back.
You got the scoop.
Yeah, for whatever it's worth. So there's that to look forward to. It probably will come out in July because there's a pretty quick turnaround on shows like that. You know, if they can just put it together. I don't know if it's All Stars. I tried to get more information, and he said when I start to work on the show, I'll tell you everything. So I was like, all right, well, okay, I'm here. So I think I'll watch that. And then $1 Million Listing LA on Bravo came back June 16th. And I'm all for watching it, except I'm not a fan of Frederick Eklund. So.
He's on Los Angeles? I'm a little behind on Bravo because I've just been lazy. But, interesting. Is he no longer going to be on New York, or is he going to double duty?
I think he's going to double it. Yeah, because he's got a place in both now. Yeah, so I don't really need to see him necessarily, but I'll watch the show. So that's kind of what's on my radar. Nothing fantastic, just some reality TV. I think looking at Selling Sunset is a great idea, and maybe I'll look at Dirty John too.
Yeah, I've been kind of weird with television lately. I've been looking for like feel good, stupid, silly stuff. So I've been rewatching like Queer Eye and just like shows that make me laugh and are fun. And as much as I love Bravo, of course, sometimes it's just annoying. Yeah. And like I'm like, I don't want to watch these people. I've been watching these people for 10 years. Because I want something else. I need to see new people.
Right. I
know.
I
think like Selling Sunset's good.
Well, that's
It's like fancy rich ladies. It's because it's a lot of the lifestyle porn you get on Beverly Hills Housewives, and then plus the $1 Million Listing Los Angeles. So you get like real estate porn, and then like fancy, beautiful women, wearing really ridiculous looking outfits. And a lot of small sunglasses. You'll be triggered.
We need those little slit sunglasses. Oh, we need some new TV. You're absolutely right. I mean, just looking at Bravo programming alone, I mean, their newest Housewives. I am excluding Salt Lake because it doesn't exist yet. But I mean, the newest ones. We were talking about Potomac Housewives a moment ago, and that's going into season 5. I mean, they haven't really settled on a new direction for the network as far as programming and ensemble casts go. So I mean, I'm starving for something new too. So there's that.
Yeah.
You mentioned Queer Eye. Like, that is a feel-good show, but I feel like those guys on that show have such bad reputations right now. I don't know what's true and what isn't, but I just hear that a lot of them are nightmares, and I just don't know like if they're selling me a bag of goods because they don't appear that way on the show. And I don't like to be manipulated, so I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of them, they rose to fame very, very quickly.
Yes.
And I think that gets to people's heads. And also, I think, Queer Eye started a couple years ago and they've already done 5 seasons. Like, that's a lot of content to be pumping out. Yeah. And I think, like, Jonathan Van Ness is like the Nene of it. Like, I'm the king. Like, I've got the sound bites. But now it's so fake that it's kind of hard to watch.
To me, it happens when there's a bunch of endorsements, and I've noticed that Jonathan's been out there. I'm not hating on him, but he's just, when you start to like get all these deals and all this stuff, you become overexposed, and that's it. I mean, arguably, we could name so many names on here of people who are overexposed. It happens. I get it. I can't fault people for taking a gig, but this viewer, me, is a little tired of seeing a lot of the same faces. So I get it.
And even like on Netflix shows now, like they're doing so many, like branded content moments where a brand is integrated throughout the show. And I'm like, oh my God, like the simple viewer doesn't notice these things, but because I have like an eye for one production, because it's what I do, and I just like also love television. So every time I'm watching it, I'm like, West Elm, okay. And then, are we doing this, skincare brand this time, and this and this and this, and so it's kind of like, okay, we get it, this is one big advertisement. Got it.
Yeah, and those are people who are paying for Netflix do not care to see all that stuff. That's not the point, but
yeah, exactly,
they gotta make their money any way they can. Anyway, exactly. I'd love to have you on. Let's hope that some of this summer TV is worth the wait because I need it and I can no longer watch the news. So that's what I will be watching, and I'll be talking about here on the podcast. Some of these things. I hope I can talk more 90 Day Fiancé because I really like talking about those couples. I'm still getting to know them, so we'll get into that and more. But in the meantime, for even more Bravo talk, where can people find your podcast?
Well, thanks for having me on. This was so fun. I feel like that was an hour, but it felt like no time. I love going on other people's shows because it's like you lose that pressure of like
Yes.
hosting. Like the hosting part, like isn't always fun if you're not in the mood, as you probably know. You've done 150 episodes. But people can listen to Bravo Happy Hour out on Tuesdays and Friday. I just did like a really ridiculously long Real Housewives of DC recap. It's like a one season wonder, and we just rewatched it, and it was just so funny. Like these fools, the Salahis crashing the White House dinner. So
those
that's
idiots.
definitely something I would tell people to go listen if you want like 7 hours of unobstructed, ridiculous content. And one of the women on the show, Mary Amons, who, you know, really nice, but a nobody, she was like one of the housewives, and she reached out to me. And so she came on the show, and that episode will be out tomorrow on Tuesday. But I like don't remember what I say when I'm in these shows. I like go into a fugue state and just forget. And she was like calling me out for like things like negative things I said about her. So if you guys want to hear me get and like she was doing it like jokingly, but I was so mortified. So yeah, so go to my channel to listen to me get awkwardly scolded.
Oh my god, I would love that. You know, I like always open to a good confrontation. Like, I would love to spar with one of them.
Megan, you know, Megan, I'm college educated, and I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, I'm so worried.
All right, Mary, keep living that one season from 12 years ago. Keep living it out. Right. Live the dream.
But yeah, thank you again for having me on. This was a total blast.
Yeah, Megan, thanks so much for coming on. All right, we'll be back with more rants. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please let somebody else know, because content is in short supply on TV, but for whatever reason, the digital space, there's a lot going on. But I think this was a good one, and I'd like for people to hear it. So let other people know if you're looking for something alternative. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. I love you for listening, and as always, I'll be back with more rants.
This has been Grant's Rants. Support the Rants on Patreon at patreon.com/Grant's Rants. Follow Grant on Twitter and Instagram at It's Grant's Rants. Cover art created by RHOA. Original theme music by Alexander Arntzen. The Grant Michael Collection.